Yes,
Are we on?
yes,
Yep.
it looks that way.
Okay, good evening. Welcome to the Newmarket Zoning Board of Adjustment meeting for Monday, March 28, 2016. And as always, our first item on the agenda is the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Before we start, I want to say congratulations to Jonathan, proud father of baby Oliver.
Thank you.
Oh,
A week now?
Yeah, 2 weeks.
2 weeks. Fantastic. Congratulations.
Thanks.
Glad you're able to make it. Nothing says welcome to the world like a ZBA meeting. Next item is the review and approval of the minutes of February 29th, 2016, which Diane circulated by email a week ago, 2 weeks ago, a couple weeks ago. Any changes? Should we entertain a motion and then we'll consider changes?
That we accept as they were transmitted.
Second.
Any changes, comments, amendments to the minutes? Seeing none, all those in favor of approving the minutes of February 29th, 2016, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? The ayes have it. Our regular business agenda for this evening is, the first item, I guess, is election of officers. Are we at that time again?
we are.
So the floor is open for,
Make a motion that we nominate Chris for chairman, and if Wayne's so willing, vice chairman.
Yeah, okay, sure.
nobody else, you guys sure nobody else wants to do either of these
You want to
jobs?
do it, Bob?
Well, you can nominate, I mean, we can.
Is there a second to the nominations? Thank you, James. Any other nominations? Please, please, God. Hearing none, all those in favor of approving the nomination of Chris Hawkins and Wayne Rosa for emperor and co-emperor respectively, please signify by saying aye.
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 I'm not sure that was a
No.
majority.
Want to go no?
Aye.
All those opposed? The ayes have it. Next item is the application of Kyle and Maury Barnett, a continuation of a public hearing for an application for a variance from section 3.03B of the Newmarket zoning ordinance to permit a second living unit to be added to the existing single-family home, making it a duplex where the lot size is 0.7 acres and the allowed density in the R3 zone is 2 units per acre. The property is located at 48 Elm Street, tax map U2. Excuse me. Lot 207 in the R3 zone. The applicant. I want to apologize for the confusion last time, but it worked out okay because we were able to clarify your application a little bit.
Okay.
So we understand it better.
That's quite all right. I really don't have much more to say. I tried to list everything I could for you guys in that packet, so probably more information than you really need, but, this is my second time around doing things a little bit differently, so figured more is better than less. So do you have any questions for me, or?
So the record will reflect that we got a very comprehensive packet, one of the most voluminous we received from the applicant. This is your second time around, so we were able to, this is like, we've had 2 swings at this now, so we do appreciate that. So the idea is to add another unit onto the existing structure. It'll be a duplex, basically.
Correct. We decided to go for the duplex just because of the square footage allowance.
And if I understand your application materials, which we've all reviewed, hopefully, and everybody's had a chance to drive by, I'm seeing a lot of head nodding, so yes. There's a lot of duplexes, triplexes, multi-residential units in the area, most of which are on smaller lots than this one is, if I understand it. Right. Are there any questions for the applicant? No comments, questions at all?
I have-
I don't have any.
Yeah, that's right. Is there any public comment? Floor is open for public comment on this application. Seeing no public comment, I'm going to close the public comment period, and we will now proceed to deliberate if there is any deliberation on the application.
I just want to point out that when I look at it,
The microphone, Bob?
the lot, the lot can definitely support it. It's one of the bigger lots in the area. And there's a lot of units around it that have a lot smaller lots. So
That are also multi-residential.
they're also multi-residential, yes. So I think it's a good idea, good use for it.
Then is there any further discussion, deliberation on the application? And what I'm going to suggest we do is somebody make a motion to approve the application as submitted, adopting and incorporating the materials submitted by the applicant as the findings of the board.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
Yeah. I make the motion that we approve the variance based on the information presented by the homeowner in the packet provided.
And we'll just adopt
Adopt that as
this
a finding of fact.
as our findings of fact. Further discussion, further comment? Those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Application is approved. Thank you, Mr. Barnett.
Thank you very
Really
much.
appreciate the very comprehensive job you did here. Thank you
problem.
very
Thank
much. Makes our lives much easier. Now, the next item is the application of Alexander Capron, a public hearing for an application for a special exception from section 7.03B of the Newmarket zoning ordinance for an accessory apartment over the garage. The property is located at 7 Moody Point Drive, tax map R2, lot 39 in the R1 zone. Mr. Rose is going to recuse himself from this application, and Mr. Minutelli is going to be appointed for purposes of this application. Thank you, Wayne. I don't know if you've appeared before us before. I'll just give you generally the way we operate is, we just got some materials today,
Right,
so we haven't all had a chance to look at that.
okay.
But happy to have you put in all the evidence you think you need to support the special exception. We will hear you out. We'll do public comment if there is any.
Okay,
We'll close that. And then give you if there's something that comes up in public hearing that you want to respond to, we'll give you an opportunity to do that as well.
sure, sure.
And then we may ask questions as that comes up. But firstly, we just want to give you a chance to say whatever you need to say. And there is some stuff in here we have not seen yet. So
Okay, okay.
can you just introduce yourself?
Yeah, my name is Peter Leavenworth, and I've been requested by the owners to represent them here because they live in California. They purchased the property in early January, and have been making plans to do extensive renovations to the house. The house has been unoccupied for 2 or 3 years while it was on the market. They plan to eventually live there part-time. And they would like to build an accessory apartment over the garage. And they would have somebody there more as a caretaker than they would be a tenant no matter what. But somebody to look after the house basically while they're not there. It would be a single bedroom with an efficiency kitchen. And I believe that it's shown on the plans. It's kind of a modern-looking house. And I also provided a before picture, which I assume is on the top, and then a photoshopped version of, which is kind of crudely done, but it gives you the idea of what the architectural shape is going to be in terms of it looking. I know that one of the criteria was you want the addition or any alteration to look in keeping with the house itself as well as in the neighborhood. So the owners are going out of their way to construct the gable, the new gable, which would be facing north, to match the other gables that already exist on either end of the house. And they're putting in an extra bath that would, on the second floor, that would be attached to the apartment. The apartment would be accessed from both the garage and a new vestibule. There's another addition that is going to be on the front of the house by the entry. In addition, there's also a door that goes from the apartment into the rest of the house so that the caretakers would be able to easily access the rest of the house. The building inspector has gone over the plans, and he's heard just what I've told you in terms of what the intentions are, and he has no problem on building grounds, at least, as far as what they've planned. And of course, it will be done all according to code, building codes, electrical code, et cetera. And in addition, I should point out, too, that the house was built in 1978, and it is referred to sometimes as a beach-style or a deck-style house, and I think the implication is that it resembles something that you might find in the south, that's near the water. In keeping with that, there is absolutely no insulation in the ceiling whatsoever. Zero. So they're going to, extensive lengths to bring this up to code. It's going to be a substantial improvement on the inside of the house and eventually on the outside. They're replacing all the windows, all new flooring, new heating system. I mean, it's just a complete, total renovation. Great. Sorry. And the windows that were drawn into the Photoshop thing they're basically just representative. It's going to look a little better than what that Photoshop looks like. And frankly, in my opinion, the addition is going to make the house look better. Right now, it sort of looks like the house has got its back turned to the street.
So we can understand the application. We just received this today. Can you just step up here
Oh, sure.
and people can gather around if you want? Just walk us through what we're looking at on these plans,
Okay.
and then
Okay, right now,
$50 fine for ringing cell phones.
I should know by now. Okay, this is the house as it stands, and this is the kitchen. And this here is a section that is...
Excuse me just a second. If there are folks who are here to comment on this application, you're free to come on up and...
Good, I haven't seen.
Sorry. More information is better for everybody.
Okay. All right, so here's the house, the main living room here. This is the entry. And this spells out actually this is one of the additions here. And this is the master bathroom that's getting renovated. What is at issue here is the garage area. And this is the first floor, so this is the garage under, and this is the kitchen.
So this is all existing except for this area here?
Correct.
Just these three rooms basically are
Yes.
being added? Okay.
Yes.
And then this is the second floor?
This is the second floor, and that's where these stairs now come up into this second floor. This is the proposed second bath, which is actually going to be for the benefit of the rest of the house. This is the existing bath, which is going to have a door from the apartment that goes into it. And this here is the existing second bedroom, and this is the master bedroom here. And so, as you go down the stairs, you can get into the house by going in the front door and going up the stairs into the apartment. You can go through this door to get into the second floor. You can go into, this is for the bathroom, and then you can also come down the stairs and turn and go down into the garage. So people they can drive up in the wintertime and go into the garage. And of course, there's no fire code sheetrock in the garage whatsoever, but there would be, and a Class B fire door here.
Right.
They are also going to be putting in the driveway comes in like this it sort of comes in from the street and then angles in here. Almost immediately off the street, what they're going to do is bring another spur that comes up in front here that's going to have parking. The way the house has been used, it looks like the front door was absolutely never used. There was not even a path that came from the driveway over to it.
Right.
So what they want to do is really emphasize coming to the front door.
Mhm. But in terms of the application before us now, it's really focused on here.
Yeah.
This is not part of the application per se.
No, this is part of the building permit.
Part of the building permit, but
Yes.
not in terms of the special exception that's being applied for now.
Because they would like permission to use this as a caretaker's.
And this is 635 square feet is what's being added in terms of the accessory apartment.
Exactly, right.
All right. And then these photographs I think you were referring to, that's the existing condition?
Yes,
And then
that's the.
that's rough rendering?
Exactly.
And then this is the Photoshop?
Yes.
Okay.
You can see that the current side, this is the north side of the garage, currently is flat.
Yep.
But the rest of these two gables on either end have this detail here. So they want to replicate the same gable effect here.
Okay.
So the effect will be that it's always been this way.
Right. Okay. Thank you. I just wanted to clarify, because this just came in today. We haven't all had a chance to see it.
I delivered it, I realized. I know that some neighbors have inquired, they wanted to know who the tenants might be, and of course, it's not really up for discussion here, but what the owners have told me, they are both academics in Southern California, and they have colleagues that they know who are UVA, and what they would prefer is looking for graduate students who are always looking for places
Yeah.
to rent.
They're looking for somebody responsible to take care of their house. Okay. Okay. Thank you.
It's 635 square feet?
That's what the application says. And I haven't done the math. It's 23 by 26 and a half, Bob.
No, go ahead, go ahead. He's not gonna say it.
Oh, yeah.
If it's 23 by 26 and a half, it's 609.5.
It's a 9.5. That's not including the bathroom.
Oh, okay.
And you can step back, thanks.
As long as we're under, it's 800.
It's got to be between 300 and 800
Yeah.
to qualify for the
Right there.
Is there anything else you want to tell us at this time?
I don't know what else to mention. If you have any questions, any other questions, I'd be.
What I'm going
happy
to do is have public comment
Yeah.
before we deliberate,
Mm-hmm.
so we have everything out on the table.
Sure.
And then if we have questions, or you want to comment further based upon what the public comment is,
Oh,
we'll
absolutely.
give you an opportunity to do that.
Okay.
So the floor is open for public comment on the application. Just state your name and address, we'd appreciate it.
Hi, my name is Mel Prostkoff, 17 Moody Point Drive, and I'm a butter. I got the letter from you folks about coming in. Although Professor Capron lives in California. I actually met him in 1989. I haven't seen him since then. At that time, he was president of an organization called American Society of Law and Medicine. And so he's a responsible guy with a 58-page resume. In terms of the special exception, from what I understand, you've got 7 points that you have to go through, and that's the responsibility of the ZBA to make sure that the 7 points are adhered to. As somebody who's lived in the area since, on the block since 1997, the house has never had street appeal, quote-unquote, like Realtor said. There's always a bunch of bushes, never really used a front door. Everybody always went in the side door by the garage, the mud door. And from what I understand, having spoken with Mr. Leavenworth, sort of wandered by the place, it looks like there's going to be tremendous improvement in the neighborhood, in the street appeal, and how the whole house looks, both outside as well as inside. As he said, I was unaware of the insulation things. And it sounds like what he's saying is that that Mr. Leavenworth is saying is that the construction that he's doing to raise the roof so that it doesn't look like this salt shed kind of thing coming all the way down towards the road will look like it's always been there, and will improve the street appeal, and there'll be a front door, and that will be good. In terms of precedent, there is already, I think, a special exception for an accessory apartment at another house on Moody Point Drive at number. This is 7, I think number 11 Moody Point Drive already has. So I don't know if that factors into your decision-making or not, but just bringing up to your attention that there is already an accessory apartment. One of the questions that's been raised by one of the other abutters who couldn't be here tonight was the question as to whether or not the septic system is adequate. And Mr. Leavenworth had indicated that prior to the purchase, that there was a home inspection that included a septic report, and not just looking at the tank, but maybe looking at the D-box or something else. I don't know, Mr. Leavenworth can address that. But since it was originally a 2-bedroom home, and now it essentially is going to become a 3-bedroom home, the question as to whether or not the initial leach field was adequate and whether it's functioning well. And it has its own well, and that's fine. And in terms of the type of tenant, as I had spoken with Professor Cabron, and he indicated to me what Mr. Leavenworth said, that they would be looking for graduate student type of people to be caretakers of the neighborhood. It's a pretty quiet neighborhood. Most of the people are elderly or semi-retired there, and not looking for kids revving motorcycles and doing wheelies on the block. And although we have no control over who are going to become tenants, obviously, it's nice to know that the new owners fit into the milieu, and also that what they're talking about in terms of having types of tenants that they want. It sounds like it's in keeping with what everything else is that's going on around there. Thank you. Appreciate your time.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate you coming down. Any other public comment?
I can respond to the question about septic system.
Yeah, I'd appreciate it if you did that. Do you have a copy of the inspection report?
Pardon?
Do you have a copy of the?
I do, but I couldn't print it out. So I've got a PDF file right here. It was done by Kent's Clean Septic Service, LLC, in September 2014. And can provide it to you as soon as, I just need a newer computer.
When he comes in for his building permit, you could make that available.
Oh, absolutely.
For the file.
Yeah, it's only 3 pages. But I've looked at it, and basically the finding is that there's a 1,500-gallon tank. And my understanding is that, for instance, in my own house, I have 2 tanks that are come to 1,800. And I've been approved for a 5-bedroom system. And so I believe that a 2-bedroom system is the smallest that they approve. And in my experience building, very few people build the smallest septic system because it doesn't cost an awful lot more to make it bigger. And the smallest system with for 2 bedrooms is usually 600 or 700 gallons. So they did due diligence in trying to get records from the town. Again, I said the house was built in 1978, and it was right on the cusp of when they started keeping better records for septic installations. But there's nothing here at the town, and unfortunately at the state, they didn't preserve, or they digitized records that go back from that area, but they were not in. They did 2 searches, and they were not able to find any description or approval. But
Do you know who the original installer was?
no, not really. I think the original builder's name was Kate. What's his first name? Roland Kate. I don't know who the installer was at the time. But to me, first of all, the 1,500-gallon tank would indicate that it's really intended to be a much bigger system than just simply 2 bedrooms. And it's more likely a 4-bedroom system, and so they're more than, their system is more than adequate. In addition, Kent also did test holes around the edge, the perimeter of the field itself, and found no evidence of any leakage sideways from the field, which would indicate that it had lost any of its filter effectiveness. Usually when a system fails, the effluent starts going sideways, and it'll come out of the side eventually. And it's a built-up system, so it's 6 feet out of the ground on the front of the house, which is away from the road. But it was described as being in good shape in 2014.
Okay.
So I understand people's concerns, but I really do feel that the evidence is that it's absolutely fine.
Thank you.
Yep.
Any further public comment based on Mr. Leavenworth's latest comments? Seeing none, I'm going to close the public hearing, and we will proceed to deliberations. Can I ask a question first?
You're the chair, so do as you wish.
No exterior changes shall be made which significantly alter the appearance of the structure from the street. This is going to be an improvement, but it's going to change the appearance of the building. Am I getting too technical about it?
It's going to make it fit into the character of the neighborhood.
It's going to be consistent. Okay, I just want
I
to,
would,
I don't have a problem with it. I just want to make sure that we don't need a variance for that, because it is going to change the appearance of the building. It's going to improve it.
yeah.
But any,
Is there, do we need a leeway, or is that because it
I'm
improves
happy with it.
Okay.
I'm just raising it because Diane is our expert.
No
I
pressure.
think the intent is that it fit into the character of the neighborhood. And we're
It's
hearing
just a
from the
question of,
abutters
if we
that
act on it,
it's
I
gonna
want to
be
make
an
sure that it's going to
enhancement.
be legally effective. You know
Right.
what I mean? That's all. There's not going to be a question about it later, so that if the property is sold at some point, there's not a legal question about whether or not the exception was properly granted.
Mhm.
Are there, the parking space requirement, is that satisfied today, or is that going to be satisfied when the additional driveway is added?
I'm not sure if it's satisfied now, but it certainly will be when they have the additional parking. I believe there will be 3 parking spaces in front of the house.
How would it, I mean, looking at it, is this a 1-car or 2-car garage today?
It's a 2-car garage, and it has a turnaround. So there's enough room for 2 cars in the garage and a third one that would be in the turnaround and would be out of the way of the other cars.
Okay. Okay. Any other questions, comments? I guess I'd be inclined to grant the special exception subject to 2 conditions, which is submittal of the report, the inspection report for the septic, giving that to the building official, so if he's satisfied that the capacity is there, subject to his approval of that the sewage disposal is adequate. Okay? And also, subject to there's one additional parking space needed, if I understand you right. In these 2 parking spaces per dwelling unit, there's going to be 2 dwelling units for 4, so you need 4 spaces. So there's 3 today. So the other condition would be doing the work that you've described to add at least one additional parking space, which I understand is the intention anyway.
Right, correct.
So subject to those 2 intentions, I think the criteria for the special exception are satisfied.
It sounds it. Can I just see the special
Certainly.
exception?
It starts at the bottom of there and then goes over to the top.
Yeah. Want me to put it through its paces? Yeah, I would agree. I mean, it's, looking at the plans that were provided, the square footage needs to be between 300 and 800 square feet. What they've provided suggests it's 609.5, not including the bathroom, correct?
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, that's taken care of. It's clearly going to be bless you, a one-bedroom apartment, which is the second. The third is one of the dwelling units must be owner-occupied. That's going to be the case at least part of the time, correct? Right. And the other time, the owner, it's always going to be, the owner just may not be there the other part of the time, correct? Correct. The parking spaces you've touched upon, Chris.
Mm-hmm.
No exterior changes shall be made which significantly alters the appearance of the structure from the street. To the extent there are going to be alterations, they're going to be positive for the neighbor and consistent with character of the neighborhood. And I don't think they're going to be, whether or not they're significant might be arguable anyway. So I don't have any concerns with that, especially not hearing any public comment objecting to the application. And then as long as the home inspection results are provided, I think the 6th prong about water supply and sewage disposal is certainly contained in the record.
Do we have to satisfy all the 5 criteria for?
No.
I think Steve just did that.
I went through
Not-
this.
Not the variance criteria.
Not the variance.
No,
criteria.
there's no variance, it's just a special
My-
exception.
My understanding of the special exception is if the applicant provides evidence satisfying the prongs, then we're required to grant it. Is that correct?
I think that's right, and then our option is we can put reasonable
And then
conditions
we
on it,
have-
which I think we have,
And
because,
I think the conditions that have been suggested are appropriate and probably necessary, so
yeah.
that's it.
So I guess the proposed motion is to find that the criteria for the special exception under the ordinance are satisfied, and the application is approved, subject to submittal of the sewage system inspection report, which has been referred to the building official, so that he's satisfied that it's adequate, and also subject to the construction of at least one additional parking space.
So moved.
Second.
Further discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? The ayes have it. So the sooner you get that inspection report in, either to Diane or to Mike Hoffman, the better.
Thank you very much.
And then the building official will come and check and make sure that an additional parking space has been built when he does all of his other inspections. Thank you.
We're building the house.
Thank you, Mr. Proskopf, for coming out. We appreciate your comments.
Oh, Chase. I like Marcia.
Any further business to come before the board? I see that we've got the annual spring conference.
They don't have an agenda, though. It's kind of.
Not yet.
They said they would.
Didn't even notice till I got out there.
Bye-bye.
June 4th, 2016, early June is like golden time, right? So, but it is a worthwhile thing to go to if folks have the time and the energy to do it.
I'm guessing it's an all-day event.
All day or half day?
Okay.
Yeah.
I was hoping when it said courtyard, I was like, oh, isn't there one of those in Portsmouth?
The town will pay, if there's a fee, the town will pay it, and if there's mileage, the town will pay, reimburse you for your mileage. We carpooled the last time we did this with Jerry. Which reminds me, Jerry O'Connell is now an American citizen. He voted for the first time ever in this country in the last town election.
Oh, really?
Yeah. He's now a dual citizen.
Are we still on? or-
So I'm saying congratulations to Jerry, but we're still on. Any further new or old business to come before the board at this time? Entertain a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor, say aye.
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 All those opposed? Thank you.